probably the main reason where there has to be the farming of the animals, the whatsoever way, and that is perhaps.
And
by reading that article, I have probably reduced my meat consumption by 99%.
Right. Yeah. So here in New Zealand, 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions is animal agriculture.
Methane is 100 times
more
of a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide.
Yeah, so on a 20-year model, it's about 85 times worse than carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
On a 100-year model, it's about 25 to 30 times worse than carbon dioxide. So everyone wants to talk about electric cars, everyone wants to talk about bike lanes and light rail. And like I said, these are all discussions we can have. There's things I agree with, things I disagree with, and just whether or not it's practical. All right, there's things I'd love to see happen, but I don't know if they can work. But this is what nobody really wants to talk about, aside from half of our greenhouse gas emissions is. If I could waive because of the time scale that methane is a problem. If I wave my magic wand and we woke up tomorrow and there was no more fossil fuels, no more cars, no more buses, no more trucks, planes, factories, no more fossil fuels being burned, okay? In 100 years, I could just start to barely measure a decrease in atmospheric carbon dioxide from humans, from human activity, right? What would that accomplish for us in terms of climate change, global warming, any of that? Nothing. But if I could wave my magic wand and say we wake up tomorrow and there's no more animal agriculture, in 10 years, atmospheric methane from farmed animals would be cut almost in half. And in 100 years, we'd barely be able to measure it. That's the only way we can get these changes. And this is because methane has a half-life of about 10 years, a little over 10 years. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has a half-life of centuries. So the only way, if this is a concern, the only legitimate solution based on the data that supports that concern is we have to move from animal agriculture to a much, and again, it's more sustainable, it's more ethical, it's more profitable, it's less resource intense. There's so many different lenses.
That's why the Labour government. That's why the Labour government.
Cheers.
Keeping the democracy in action.
You know about the methane.
No, well, that's right.
You're ahead of the. You're steps ahead of the crowd.
Because I've worked for 10 years in meteorology and oceanography. So,
Okay.
Hi John. How's it going? Yeah, good on you.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, we're just talking greenhouse gases here, John. Talk about methane. Yeah.
You'll get plenty for taxes.
Run from all of them, all the incumbent parties. Yeah, I mean, vote for me is great, but vote for anyone but the incumbent parties is necessary.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, I'm a grumpy communist, and I'm wondering who to vote for, because the point about it is that pretty much all of them, probably the Greens are the least likely, but they pretty much all stick to the old neoliberal economics. Not one of them has railed against the Reserve Bank Act, which, you know, like the cure for the cost of living crisis is to put up people's biggest cost of living, right? That's how the Reserve Bank Act works. So, not one of them has said abolish GST.
Yeah, but also in terms of they will talk for days and days and days about climate change. Yeah. And they will talk for days and days and days about electric cars and bike lanes and light rail.
Yeah.
They will, but over the course of however many days you give them to talk, they won't mention animal agriculture.
No.
They won't mention it once.
Well, you see, I'm a lacto vegan, so I'm sort of getting there.
You're on the journey.
Way. Yeah.
I really appreciate you standing up.
Yeah. So I appreciate your question too. That was a very good question.
So you're involved in the ambulance service.
I work for it.
Okay. So when I was back in the States, we did the first aid ambulances at the city level. This is in New Jersey, where different in different places. But they had us, and we were half volunteer, half paid and contracted. But they had a system of soft billing. So if you call up and it was a volunteer squad, it's free no matter what, right? But if you call up and the service is being run by the contracted service, then if you have health insurance, it would be billed to the insurance, and if you don't have health insurance, then it's free. And that was just part of the contract that the city negotiated with the providers.
I actually had a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your view on pets?
Be more specific.
Well, I believe that pets should be benefited like they live in indentured servitude all their lives.
Yeah.
And they do provide some leisure recreation purpose for humans.
Yeah.
But it's basically indentured servitude. We provide them shelter, give them
Yeah.
food, and they do nothing but provide like their greenhouse gas emissions basically. All the pet food that comes
pet
from
food.
all trees,
Yeah.
and they kill all the natural fauna.
Yeah.
And obviously there are physical harms that some dogs
Yeah.
do, but that's
Okay, so with that in mind, the other side of the coin is that some people look at pets as like, oh, this is my pet. Look how pretty I can make my dog. Look how, and they use the pet as a status symbol and self-validation. That I don't support. Other people look at pets more as companion animals, and they say, this animal was gonna, the prior, and I don't like the term owner because animals aren't property, but the prior person looking after this animal couldn't take care of this animal. The animal went to the pound, the animal was going to be killed. I saved this animal's life, and now this is a companion animal. We look after each other. So it's a different relationship depending on how you frame it. Legislatively, I don't think it's going to be possible to distinguish these two things, between pet owners who look at their animals as property and status symbols, and people who honestly look after the best interests of their companion animals.
Because another way, people who have family and not all their family are human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Now-
realize that, but that's my question. Because it's like breeding them for food, but in this case you're breeding animals for emotions.
Yeah.
That's a good
Now,
way of looking at it.
now another part of this.
Actually, our cat was a stray.
So I mean, you would agree that most of the pets are not really adopted; they are bred.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I agree. And then when the animal gets sick and kidneys go, off to the vet for to be put to sleep. Now,
Or thousands and thousands of dollars in vet bills. I know people who do that.
Well, but 9 out of 10 times it's the Now, would you do that to your mum? No?
I don't know. There's a legislation now. You can do that. I think they said yes to the referendum.
That's through their own. We make decisions for animals. We decide. It's a hard one, eh?
Now, another part of that equation, and it applies mostly to cats and dogs, because these are most domestic animals and companion animals, is not yet party policy. But if I am crowned king of New Zealand, like, one of my ideas around this is to basically say, because right now we have licensing fees for dogs. I'm not sure how it works for cats.
I think same.
No
Yeah.
licensing.
Huh?
No,
No license. Okay.
but they need to be chipped and shit.
They don't need to be, but it's encouraged.
It's encouraged because then they get lost.
Yeah. But one of the ways.
Thanks so much. I'll see you later.